Right, we should be up and running live now. So, don't know if you lot can hear me live. I'm just waiting until I can see it going live on me on me stream at my end. There's a few bugs in the house, and it's a headache. Yeah, sometimes it's like a 7-second delay, 8-second, 10-second delay or something. Oh, for God's sake, what's going on here? We're coming on live now, I think. Let's do a sound check.
I love winding Geordies up, mate. Like, so easy.
Right, we're live.
Fun.
How are you doing, guys? Sorry about the mismatch of pictures. I've just had a bit of a few technical problems. There's a bug in Discord or something. So that's why you've got a little bit of a screw with images going on at the minute. So my apologies for that. It's just one of those things which is out of my hands at the minute. But hopefully you can hear us all okay. Kev, Richie, how has your day been?
Been all right. It's just a normal day. Been to work and that. And just getting in, jump on here.
I'm good, mate. Just suffering badly with hay fever, hence why I've got a bright red nose tonight. But I am good, mate.
I didn't want any hay fever. Richie's just disappeared from camera at the minute. Hopefully we'll get him back soon.
Might have sneezed and flew out.
Did I?
I think Richie's back anyway. So hello to everybody in the chat. Janet says, I can hardly wait for the fixtures. John Nesbitt says, hi Tricia, hope you're well. These have all been in before we got in. Colin Major says, good evening, lads. Back at you, Tricia, says Gary Hoyd. Kingfisher says, hello. Ian Brown, how you doing? Alan Gardner. Apparently we're after Joe Gomez. We'll be linked with a player every day, right through this transfer window. First of all, I want to say a massive thanks for everybody helping us get to 4,000 subscribers. It's not just me. It's everybody involved. I mean, Kev, Richie, Tricia, Jacob when he comes. Anybody that's Kingfisher as well. All you guys in the chat. Ian, the moderator. Tricia, the moderator. It's just been a good all-round team effort. So I do appreciate what everybody's helping. So just put it into the channel just by showing up. That means a lot. I still haven't got over.
Mate.
Thank you. I still haven't got over the final yet. Oh, so then eventually we're seeing Tommy Watson holding the Brighton shirt up above his head. You can't tell me there's a little bit of bitterness there. I mean, yes, he scored that class goal. But he should be with us, man. Sunderland lad, born and bred. What's he holding the Brighton top up for? Away, man. God, all these good starlets that come through the academy, it's like they end up buggering off elsewhere, don't they? Can we not keep them? I'd like to be able to harness them and keep them at our club. That's what we've got to do, innit? If we want to progress and go far, or maybe be established in the Premier League, we must keep hold of our young'uns coming through, these superstars. But it's so difficult.
Yeah. For me, I seen the video, and I'm honestly saying when I seen the video, I was like, "Good luck to you, lad." To your point, kind of keep hold of them. You know, if we're going to accept that the model that the clubs work to get us in the Premier League, we have to accept that part of that model is selling some of the assets. I don't think we'll ever sell all of them. I don't think we're in that kind of position where I think the model is to nurture a couple and sell a couple per year and kind of get you 10, 20 millions for them. And I think that's just part of the model. So kind of accept it, me. You know, I accept that Job's probably going. I'd love him to stay. I'd love him to have a go to the Premier League. But I kind of accept that he's going to go. I don't expect anybody else to leave unless they really want to. And I think if a player really wants to leave, they should let them go in anyways.
It's hard to imagine, isn't it, when you think, like, because we would give anything to play for Sunderland. I mean, got to be money or it's I don't know. I mean, it must be strange playing for another club where your heart's not in it. Your heart's in Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? You brought through the ranks. You're a Sunderland supporter, born and bred. You know, just like us. Do you know what I mean? And to put like another shirt on and to play for another club, I can't get my head around it. But yet again, he's a professional footballer. That's his job. He's got to try and, unfortunately, he's got to better himself, hasn't he? In the short career these footballers have. Do you think, Richie?
Yeah. Aye. It was just a little bit sad to see when I seen it on the Facebook, but at the same time I was happy for him. But we kind of blame him, man, because he didn't know that we were going to get promoted. He couldn't take a risk on it, and then obviously for a young lad, you know, like 18, 19-year-old, to be offered the chance to go to a Premier League team and obviously experience the Premier League, you can't blame the lad, because if I was in his shoes and I was 18-year-old, a club coming from the Premier League, offered to probably double or maybe treble my wages with a chance to play top football, 100% I'm going to take it. So best of luck to him. And I've always kind of defended Tommy's corner a little bit, because when all the news come out, it was just, in my opinion, I just think it was way over the top and just it wasn't needed. He didn't really do anything wrong. He's leaving the club to better himself. So why get on the lad's back just because he's one of our own? You know what I mean? I think we need, you know, to remember what he's actually done for in the end. And I hope, like I said to you when we were watching the match, Cabbie, I hope a lot of people regret what they've said about him, because I'll tell you what, I bet 99% of those supporters that were on his back absolutely love him now in a calling for him to come back to the club. But just going on the other rumours, like you were saying, Kev, I've heard one more just tonight before I've come on stream, because I was watching Sky Sports, and apparently that Wolves and Everton, and I think they said 2 or 3 La Liga clubs are looking at Trey Hume, and there's obviously a strong possibility for him going, and I think maybe that's why we're looking now to strengthen that right back area with going for the single.
I think he's one player I really wouldn't like to lose, just because I think you need a bit of you need a bit of that aggression in the team. I tell you one thing, I am worried about Trey Hume if he stays next season, is his discipline board. So I think, you know, with the use of VAR and the referees being a little bit more on point with things, I think Trey Hume could get a lot of bookings and sending off next season for
it.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to see him go. And we don't have any other right back, really. We haven't got a right back. We haven't got a right midfielder other than Roberts, really. I think the right-hand side is definitely somewhere we need to strengthen in regardless.
Agree, Kev, there.
Yeah.
Just going to say hello to everybody in the chat and catch up on messages. Kieran Monarchs is better late than never. Dave Walker says hi. Cabbie, Richie and Kev. Kingfisher says 4,000. Thank you. Trisha Winstanley says please like and subscribe, which is free to do. She says congratulations on 4,000 subscribers. Let's get to 5,000 next. A long way to go. Good to see you, Trisha. Hope you're well. It's a team. It's a great team, and I love it. She says it's good to have you on board. Gary Hoyle says we'll be linked with every man and his dog. That's every transfer window, isn't it? Kevin Monarch also says Sky Sports has just said that talks have broken down, and it's looking like Job is staying. But once again, we'll probably hear in an hour's time that he's away. This is what happens, ebbs and flows, doesn't it? Thomas Pivas says Alison Becker come to Sunderland. Eddie Bamber, you're welcome to come on, mate, if you want to pop on the chat. If not, you can just stay tuned. Hope you're well, mate. Very much on cloud nines, Eddie Bamber still. I think we all are. Absolutely. Tricia says he's saying hello to everybody in the chat. Kingfisher says, what a way to leave us, though. Take us with him. All the best, Watson. And to be honest with you, you know, he could have really not been asked for Sunderland. He could have went, I'm away anyway. It was a monkey's chuff, do you know what I mean? But when he came on, he put his heart and soul and effort into that. The last few minutes he was on, and he meant it. When he scored, he wanted to do that. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't any half-hearted messel there, and any effort there, half and half, was it? It was like, there you go, Sunderland fans. That's for you. Get up there. You could tell he meant that. Like, it was quality. And yeah, he's don't care what you think. As little he's plays for Sunderland, he's going to go down a legend for Sunderland for all our lives. Tommy Watson for scoring such an iconic goal. Same with Ballard and so. You know, these things are just life changing for Sunderland supporters, for giving you memories and that. Kiwi Monarch says it got agreed before he got promoted though. So if we were in the Prem, he wouldn't have agreed though. So yeah, it did get agreed. Gary Hall says, will Tommy settle low? Young lad, no family and strange place, doesn't always work. Hello, Dougie. Hi, Cabbie, Richie and Kev. Did you say you wanted to be moderator as well, Dougie? I can't remember if it was you or not. Janet says, when we RV Watson, we should cheer you when he comes to the field. Oh, as a matter of fact, there's nothing that will certainly do that, put it that way. He'll be one of them. Steve Taylor, how are you doing? He says, good evening, guys. Still very much on a high. I'm sure I floated home last Sunday night. He says, have you heard anything about 09's injury? Is it a dislocation of the shoulder, has been said? Someone said it's a broken arm. I think it's a dislocation shoulder because you could see the physio on the pitch trying to pop it back in, couldn't you? You could see the way he was angling. He was trying to... It's a current problem with Luke 09, isn't it? His shoulder keeps popping out. I believe he's had an operation on the series Son Until I Die. He's had an operation done, hasn't he, to try and stop that from happening. But it's obviously still a problem with him, like. But where are we? Ian Brown says Watson is the reason why we are where we are. Plus, he will be on 40k a week. Ian also says if Hume went, I'd go for Ben Davies from Spurs and Kyle Walker-Peters on a free. I don't think Hume will go anywhere, to be honest with you. Hello to Ollie says, I wouldn't mind going for Garnacho because Man U want to sell him. Garnacho, yeah, because he's had a bit of he's had a bit of an attitude problem with Man U and the fans, hasn't he? Tony Huntington says, whichever players we have, as long as the crowd don't turn toxic. He says YouTubers will help in this. Vardy to Rangers. He wants a chance at the champions. Well, freaking hell. I think our nanas could go into Rangers, couldn't they, if they want to lift the trophy? The Scottish League. No offence if there's any Celtic Rangers fans out there, but you pretty much guarantee the title, isn't it? If you're either the Hoops or the Blues. One of the two. Bong says, we are Premier League, so we are Premier League. Is he taking the mick? We're not Premier League, are we? How are we, man? Just a few weeks ago, we were Championship, weren't we? No. Eddie Bamber says, I'll try and get on soon. Can't tonight, but listening in. Anytime, Eddie, you're just free as a bird, mate. You can come and go whenever you want. We're always here. Gary Hall says, Jaden Dans apparently on way back for a loan move. This time we'll find he's got a broken neck. No, I tell you what, I'll take him. Like, we'll just pause that a second. Kev, Jaden Dans. Do you think would you be happy with Jaden Dans? I mean, I would personally, because I mean, everybody swears he's a quality player, like, but I wouldn't say no.
I mean, I haven't really seen enough of him to go, oh, I'd love to have him, or I think he'll score 20 goals for us in the Premier League. Obviously, I've read he's a really good player. I've seen these school performances for Liverpool where he's done really well more in the cup competitions, wasn't it? But look, we're gonna need depth of squad. So if the depth can be of a quality as well, and not just sort of anyone, I think can only really help us. He's got Premier League experience. The other thing that he'll have as well is coming from Liverpool is like standards, which I would expect to have standards of training, like how to conduct yourself and things like that. I think that's kind of why everyone used to love getting loan players from Man United a few years back, because they knew they were coming in with a certain standard of character and how they train and things like that. So I think getting loans from the top 6 teams in the Premier League, I think, should give you that as well. Yeah, well put. What about you, Richie? Would you think it'd be good to see him? I reckon there's a chance of him coming as a season-long loan. Like, what do you reckon? Would you like him here?
I don't know, Cabbie. I've never really watched him, to be honest.
Kev, eh?
I've never really seen him play, to be honest. And he's had these cup appearances, but like it happens with every club when they're in the like big European competitions, they'll tend to put the youngsters on just to get them a couple of games, and to maybe get the name out a little bit for like a loan spell. But honestly, I think if that's our target as a striker, I think it's poor. I think we need to get somebody else in who's got experience of playing in the Premier League as a striker. That is our number one focal point, in my opinion, this season, to bring in a striker with experience who's maybe played in the Premier League or La Liga or Liga 1, France, wherever. As long as they've got top-level experience, we need it at our club. I'm not like dissing Jaden Dans and saying, no, I'm not going to take him. I mean, he might come in handy. I just don't know much about him, but I just think we've got to get somebody else who knows what it takes to score in the Premier League. That's just, I just think that's what we're missing.
We've got to score goals in the Premier League to have a chance of staying in it. You cannot be a team that just tries to stop people scoring. You've got to be able to score goals. And I did write a few questions out tonight, and funny enough, Richie, just because you've just kind of said that, one of my questions was to use, and anyone listening, name your number one signing you would like to see sign for the club and why.
Name your number one signing you would like to see sign for Sunderland. Any position, Kev?
Any position, any player, just someone that you think, if I could if I could only sign one, that's who it would be and why.
Well, Mo Salah. No, you're talking like being realistic, aye.
I think Sunderland will shop for in and around the 20 to 30 million mark players. That's where I think they'll get a few less than that. But I think that's if they're going to look for a position where the player's going to be looking for into the first team. I think 20 to 30 million marks where they're going to have to pay.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it's so realistically, Richie, then who would you like to see coming on? Apart from Mo Salah, he's having a medical as we speak, apparently.
Aye. That's a really, really tricky one, actually. Do we go for like that's a hard question. Obviously, I'm going to go for a striker myself. But it's who, though, in that region of money, who can we sign for 20 to 30 million with Premier League experience or top flight experience?
Your camera's froze again, Richie. I don't know why, but that's it. Give it a bit.
Have you got one in mind, Cabbie?
Me?
Yeah.
Me, I would like to see Jordan Henderson because I think there's a massive realistic chance we're getting him. Now we're in the Premier League. And boy, if there's anybody that's got experience and you want somebody with a good head on your shoulders in the dressing room, it's that lad, isn't it? Plus he's Sunderland through and through. I think that'll be a golden catch if we can get Jordan Henderson. I really do. Like I say, whether we do or not, I don't know, but I would like to see Hendo back because I think he's won everything, hasn't he? What has he not won?
Yeah,
that's actually who mine was, Cabbie, when I sat and thought about it.
Oh, was
Obviously,
it?
there's loads of people you go out and get, but what I think Henderson could bring to the season and the players and things like that would be as valuable as valuable as signing a 20-goal striker. For the rest of the team. Well, I think we'll naturally go out and sign a couple of strikers. We've got that young lad as well who we haven't seen this season. But seems to do all right when he does play. He seems like he's got a bit of a goal-scoring mentality. He's only young. That Abdullah High.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's a good chance we'll have sort of 4 or 5. We're not going to see a world-class strikers or anything like that, would be realistic, but someone who might be capable of being that 20-goal season person out of the blue. Like a Kevin Phillips in our first season up in the Premier League, we need something like that,
Steve Taylor
looked very good in the reserve last season when I watched. Sorry, Cabbie, mate.
No, I was just saying. Steve Taylor says to Kev, Alexander, Isaac, he says just to cheese off the old Geordies. What were you going to say, Rich?
You know what? I would go for Diallo. If we like, I know it's going to be probably a little bit more than 30 million, but I would love to see Amad Diallo back at our club because he's an absolute pest of a winger. And when he gets into the box as well, he's just quality. I love watching him. Even before he come to Sunderland, I've watched him before playing before, and I've always thought, even for his size, he's quality, and I think he's an underrated player. So I'd love to have him back.
What's good about
Um,
Diallo is, isn't it?
I-
He give him an inch on goal, he'll get it on target. I'm not saying he'll score every time, but how many times has he had the
yeah,
ball when he was with Sunderland? He just has a little extra step to the left or the right and bang curls it in or drives it in low and hard. He knows where the goal is. It's split second, and that's what you've got to be, especially in the Premier League. One touch bang. Just like that
yeah.
Mayenda finish at Wembley, one touch bang, or Tommy Watson. Them's the quality of finishes and what you must be doing week in, week out in the Premier League. But Diallo, Christ almighty, it's cannot see it like, but
Yeah, but I would love to see him. The other thing about Diallo is when I've watched him from Man United since he's gone back, I've watched the front line of Man United. I know they're in a sort of transition at the minute with the manager, but out of the forward line, he's the only one that works the hardest and the one that seems to sort of like put his body on the line and actually get involved and try and score goals. I mean, I don't know what's done in Man United. It's none of our business, you know what I mean? But when you watch him, he just works and works and works, and he's consistent every single game. And that's what we really could do with,
He loves Sunderland. He loves Sunderland as well. I've literally just watched an interview about an hour ago of him, and they were asking him, other than Man United, what's your favourite stadium to play in? And he didn't even think about it. He just said Stadium Light. I fully suspect Stadium Light is his number one. He says he watches every single Sunderland game. He's an actual fan of the club.
it's got under his skin, isn't it?
What?
It's got under his skin. I mean, he's now to do with Sunderland. When you think of it, yes, he was. What I mean by that, and he's not born and bred, or he's not Sunderland in the blood. But why is he turning up to the playoff final second leg in the semi-final against Coventry? He's there making it. He doesn't have to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's something about our club that gets under so many players' skins, isn't there?
Imagine if we did, though, if we signed Henderson and we got Diallo this summer transfer. Can you imagine if we did?
With Lafay and Job's game, who would you play?
I don't know. I just know it's a total different kettle of fish, isn't it? I mean, 8 years away from the top flight, and let's face it, last time we were in the Premier League, we were making a hash of it. It's going to be a really exciting transfer window. I just hope it do the business. I think you're going to see the most activity, I think, possibly in the history of Sunderland, and spending wise, just simply because they have to. They've got no choice.
Do you think they can sign 10 plus players, Cabbie, or do you think they're going to sign 3 or 4? Because that's my thought. I think they'll sign 3 or 4, and maybe get a couple of loan players in. That's what I think. I don't think we'll influx the team with loads of people. I just don't. Regis's favourite word in any interview is connected to the team or connected with the team, and I think trying to get 10 players coming in and connect everyone like he kind of likes to everyone to be would be disruptive, I think.
It's careful. I'm just going to catch up on some messages. I won't be able to read them all out. Sorry if I've missed any out. There's just that many coming through. Got 62 on the channel now. David Walker says, Ahmad would be my pick too. Tony Hunting says, when we went up, the most important signing was Steve Bold. So a big centre back, even Hendo. Where are we? Ian Brown says, I would take Diego Jota on loan. He's going to struggle for game time at Liverpool. Cool Hand Luke, hello. Says, I wouldn't mind Lacazette from Lyon for a season. It says he will be cheap at the end of his contract and getting on, but was decent as well for his club. Gary Hoyle says, how about Tom Kearney at Fulham, although he is a midfielder? Where are we? Can get one more in. Tricia says, like and subscribe, thank you. Ian Curry, how are you doing? The other moderator says, nearly slept in, lazy boy. Ian Brown says, "Oh, hello to Thomas Pubis. How you doing?" Noreen Strand Larson, he says, Ian Brown says, Diallo is unrealistic. Sadly, United are going to want to build around him if they sell Garnacho and Fernandes. So there we are. We're caught up on a lot of the Channel M. What were you saying before, guys? So I rudely interrupted and read some of the messages out.
Yeah, just kind of who were looking to sign and things like that, wasn't it? But this, I'm getting quite a few messages from. Obviously, there's been a little influx of different people joining the channel, so I think there's a lot of me Geordie friends have joined the channel, but they're not talking or anything in the chat. But they're certainly sending me messages. 20 to 30 million's gonna get you now. What was it? He's shopping around in the bargain basement bucket for 20, 30 million. It got us in a fee. They're saying you can have Callum Wilson for 10 million. He's not worth a quid.
Callum Wilson. Oh, dear me. I'll tell you what's gone mental as well. I've not long really had me TikTok account for the Mackem Cabbie. And you know the ball boy video? I put that on yesterday. It's had 15,100 likes, views, should I say. And it's had 1,157 likes, 73 shares, and 24 comments. That's in 24 hours. That is just nuts. Absolutely nuts. So TikTok is going absolutely mad. That ball boy thingy, we're trying to get the ball boys, either parents on the show to have a bit crack on about it, but some people like to go on social medias and some people don't. There's nothing wrong with them not wanting to, but that's just the way they are. Some people are private, but they are proud what the young lad's done. But every time I put the video up, Agan's mad. It's crazy. We've got Pastor Alex is in the house. He's never seen him for a while. Pastor Alex. I don't know if you know who Pastor Alex is, do you, Kev? You're a massive fan of Davey, he was. When he's on.
I don't know who he is, but I know of him.
He says, hello, I'm interested to join this live. I will broadcast myself as I'm free after work. Can I join sometime? Of course you can. He says, VPA Uganda. He says, me will be great interview. That's from Pastor Alex. It was funny because when Pastor used to come on, your dad used to say, all right, Pastor, you dare get louder. Remember Richie?
He was meant, saying he's building these mud huts and mud pies and that.
Pastor Alex used to say, like, if I've just bought myself a son on top, but now we're not going to be able to have Christmas dinner and all that. These some of the comments he'd come out with. Davey says, well, come out with mine, man. We'll look after you. I'll put you a tent out in the back.
Well, at least we'll find out if he's a real pastor then when he comes on, because we've never been sure, have we?
Oh, God's sake. But Tricia says, Cabbie, Archie is thinking about coming on. Archie is the ball boy. He says, I'm just waiting for his mum to get back to me, so it'll be great if he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Tricia, great. And Tricia's doing a lot of work in the background as well. She's for the page on Facebook as well. She's messaging this and that and the other, and it'd be good to get to the young lad on, because I think what made the clips gone viral is because like nobody spotted it. I was the only one that seemed to like notice it, which was like mad. But anyway, back to the transfers and this and that and the other. And Kev said that question about who would we like to get, and yeah, realistically, Diallo, realistically not Diallo. I cannot see it myself, but I don't know. And
I have another question for you on the other side of that. So, kind of going to long, kind of, probably we are going to sell some people. I think it's inevitable. I think we are. So, if you could pick one player that's going to be sold for 7 to 10 million plus, would you be happy to let go?
Go on, Richie, because he's itching to answer that one.
Depends who it is, really. 7 to 10 million, I think, for a.
Just think,
It's a
well,
bit low
maybe
now for Premier League.
would certain go for that?
I think Cirkin's worth more than that, me, for a left back, a natural left-sided left back.
How much did we
I
sell
think
Clark for?
14 million, was it?
Something.
So you can use that as a rough guide, can't you? I mean, quality for us, but done nothing in the Premier League. So you're looking at that type of calibre player, aren't you? 10, 12,
Aye.
15 million quid to get for.
Mundo? Was he in that bracket? I think he might be now, was he?
Aye.
I would say,
Mundo's
yeah.
got to have an increase.
Isidore.
Isidore's a funny one, isn't it? Because he's kind of done well and shite. So, like, we really wanted him when he was doing well for us. But look, I think we've said a few times since he signed that contract, he just seemed to go off the boil a bit, didn't he? But I think he will be handy in the Premier League because of his size and his pace, and he could be our Henry.
Yeah,
Aye.
I mean,
yeah, he's got it.
He's definitely got it. I mean, he scores from the hard situations. He scores from hard chances, misses easy chances. Maybe that'll suit him in the Premier League. Look at that Belton goal he scored, leads out the blue, and whether you like him, love him, or lay them, he helped us get to Wembley. He scored that cracking goal at the Scraggan Building Society Stadium at Coventry. So he's got
that goal at Coventry, it was, everyone bangs on about Isaac over at Newcastle, and he is a good player and he is a good finisher. But watching Isidore score that goal against Coventry looked like a goal Isaac would score.
Yeah.
But if that had been a goal Isaac or Mo Salah would score, you'd still be seeing it now on Sky Sports News highlighted. When's the last time you've seen it highlighted? What a goal that was! It's like just comes out with the top, doesn't it?
Now and then.
I don't know.
Even the same as Dennis Cirkin in that match scored an absolute worldie as well. Remember, he ran from our inside half, got into there, obviously just outside the 18-yard box and launched an absolute rocket. It was 2 worldie goals. I remember that game now. But you're right in what you're saying. But I'll tell you who I wouldn't mind leaving for that money though, Kev. I think Luke O'Nien. And I just don't think he's going to have it for the Premier League. I think he'll struggle. The physicality of the Premier League, and he'll just pick up far too many bookings, get himself frustrated. I could just see him, going down that route where it would be a bit of a shame for him, but I just don't think he's Premier League quality. Luke O'Nien, I just can't see him playing for us, so I wouldn't mind him going.
A bit like why we're saying Henderson would be good for Sunderland coming in. Is the same reason I would like O'Nien to stay. I don't expect him to play the games he does. He has played in the Championship for us over the course of the season. I think if Mackem signs, I don't know where the things are at with that, and we kept Ballard, I think them two would be our 2 centre-halves next season. First choice. Rightly so as well. I think they're a really good centre-half pairing for the Premier League. I think they're really good. I think they could be the difference.
The local vicar, Pastor Alexis, just says, Richie, your cam's frozen again. He says, tell him to turn the heat on.
I don't know what's happening when we come out tonight, like.
Ian Perry says that Coventry Japanese winger will be a great signing as well. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about Luke O'Nien. It's a harsh business. You've got to be tough in this business, especially in the Premier League. Yeah, he's great to have around, but I don't think he's Premier League quality. I think he's... but yet again, I mean, I don't know. He's such a good morale-boosting person to have around the dressing room, isn't he? But that doesn't necessarily bring you success on the pitch. There's going to be a few players that will probably not see play for Sunderland again come the start of the next season.
I think them fringe players that went out on loan, I think I'd be very surprised. Maybe it's not Triantis. I don't know why. I've just got this feeling he's going to come back and play a part. I don't know why. They might sell him. And our Hibs want to sign him permanently. But same with, what do you call you when to Portsmouth, man? Oh.
Or,
Sheesh.
Oh, sheesh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be away. And, you know, a Bar, you know, Abdullah Bar and people like that, they can't possibly come back now and kind of think, oh, right, I'm going to get in the team.
Yeah. And Bong says, 09 is a defensive midfielder, lads. He is, but he just, how many times have we seen him playing in every role? Especially covering from injuries. But yeah, you're right. He is a defensive midfielder. Aaron Curl says, Cancelo likes Matete, Ekwa, Triantis, Anderson, Huggins, and Alessia. Huggins is a real quality prospect, you know. Huggins, he's just can't get anywhere near the pitch because of injuries. Rig, what do you reckon about? Eh? Yeah.
It's the same.
Huggins, I think, was the one that. What match was it? The Stadium Light where his knee popped out. He didn't get
more like season, wasn't he?
He didn't get tackled about. I think he just turned, twisted, and you could actually see his knee pop out the socket. It was horrible to watch. And
he'd had an ACL.
I don't know.
Because that's a naughty injury. That.
I think that was.
It's ages to come back from.
I think that was Alessia, wasn't it? If anybody on the chat wants to... I don't know. But for your second question, what about Rig? A lot of fans are saying Rig's been non-existent for quite a few games now. What did he do in the final? What did he do in the playoffs? Did he help to contribute?
I wouldn't get rid of Rig. I think people forget his age because he's played quite a few games now. The grief everyone's will give Tommy Watson. Why would you want to get rid of Rig? I think
Paul Stratton, commentary fan, good to see. He says, "Get whatever you can for Job." He said he's not the quality that everybody thinks he is, and I've seen a few other people say that about Job. You know. Is he living off his brother's name?
No, he's quality Job.
Dave, Dav147, he says, as a Man U fan, he says, congratulations, thank you. He says, how much does Sunderland have to spend, or how much are they allowed to spend? Well, they
can spend 100 million.
I was reading. You've got like is it the PSR thing and the profit sustainability. I'm sure we've got the same guided amount as Leeds. I was reading, and I think that's about 86 million. I think before you would kind of then go over the threshold. But if you're selling players as well, which we do have assets, I think that's where it's going to have to. They'll have to play a ball with it a bit, you know.
I'm just getting a drink. Carry on. Just getting a drink.
I think it's going to depend on who they can sign. You know, they're going to go after people. And I think they might get to a position where, because I do think the club is run well. I do think they're not someone who'll just splurge loads of money because they're in the Premier League. I don't think we're going to be one of them, like maybe it's a bit like what Ipswich did last season. I don't think we're going to do that. I think the club's ran well and they'll be prepared to go down. 100% they'll be prepared to go down as well. So I think if they get to a point where they've maybe spent towards the limit of what they can, and then they've got interest from a player who will come, I think that's when you might start seeing a trading of players where they might have to sell a Rig for 20, 30 million to be able to sign someone else who they think can improve the team over what Rig can do.
So Bong says Sunderland can spend as much as they want if they sell some players. Do you think that is such a stinking horrible rule for clubs that's just getting promoted? The fact, like, why put a sanction on them? I mean, surely, God's sake, it should be the opposite to give them a chance, should it not? What is the real reason behind it?
It's to stop clubs going into administration. So it's to stop clubs coming up and just going berserk with spending, and then they get relegated, and then they go into administration. So it's there to protect clubs as well, and not all clubs fall into that bracket, but I think overall, as frustrating as it is, I think it's a sensible thing to do. You know, money was getting ridiculous in football, and there could have come a point where well, I was reading something that Charlie, who was it? Who was Stuart Donald? Charlie Medlin?
Salmon pants.
Something he'd wrote something on his social media about a little story sort of when they took over the club, and the club was about to go pop, like the debt that they were in, and they were about to go pop. So imagine that now. Imagine there was no Sunderland. Imagine that. We wouldn't have had last week. Nout.
It's a massive.
It sounded like your dad there, mind, when you went nout. Honestly, spitting it with your dad there. Do you know what it is though? I think there should be a little rule though for when you do get promoted. I'm not just saying it because it's happened to us this season, but I think we're gonna, they have to maybe give teams that are getting promoted, a limit of saying maybe it's 150 million or whatever it is, to let us just allow it to give us a chance. You know what I mean? It's just there's no way we can compete with the top 10 teams in the Premier League. That's just out of the question. And even in this mid-section of the Premier League, because it's sort of like broken down in three, this mid-section's even too difficult. So we're going to be fighting these teams at the bottom. If these teams at the bottom are signing, this player, that player, strengthening the team already from last season, what chance is that going to give us? You see what I'm saying? So we've got to be given a little bit more leeway, and then there's teams that go up won't get relegated. Business will not keep happening season after season. But we all know what will happen. The rest of the teams in the Premier League will start whinging. The teams that were previously in the Premier League that got relegated. Oh, well, you can't just do that now. We've got relegated. We've lost this. It's crazy, but they're going to have to work something out just to give her a chance.
Is this the second season on the trot that the same three teams that went up have come back down? Has it happened twice consecutively? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Aye. Well, it's not going to do the Premier League any good if that's going to be the new trend. What's the point? Yes, it's nice to get into the Premier League. I know, but I mean, could the gap get that far? That the fact it's pointless. It's pointless getting promoted to the Premier League. People say, "How can you be pointless?" Everybody wants to try, but it's not doing itself any favours by the way it's gone, is it?
Well, here's a way that you could look at it. Anyone could look at it, but it is a way that I do look at it. So Sunderland will be a very interesting team to see how, the Premier League will be interested to see how Sunderland do in there this season, because these rules have been in place for quite a few years now. And when you look at kind of what Sunderland's done, so put it this way, if Sunderland never went up this season, pretty much a big chunk of our first team, there will be Premier League teams wanting to sign them. So we can say that we're not going up with a side good enough to compete in the Premier League. However, I do believe that a big chunk of our squad would be wanted by Premier League players. So we must have something. And I think we've planned in a way where once we get to the league, once we get to the Premier League, we have actually got a team of 20 to 30 million players as a core team. Mm-hmm. And I know they're young, but it is what we have. Not every team, I think, that goes up can say that. Leeds, maybes, but have we planned properly for this?
Paul Stratton, the Coventry fan. Sorry, carry on, Kev, sorry.
It's a good strategy. You're going up there with players that have a value, rather than the last times we've gone up, it feels like you have to buy a full new squad because you're in the Premier League. I don't feel like we're in that position.
Paul Stratton says, now I'm opinionated, but gutted as I am, he says, I hope you have a brilliant close season and are able to compete. Very kind words of you, Paul. Jack says, I wish you all the best next season. Cheers, Jack. David says, the gap is growing every year, sadly. Janet says, Trisha, clubs are allowed to report losses up to 105 million over a 3-year period. Dave 147, he says, I really like your keeper. Yeah, he went through a bit of a funny patch coming catching balls, but he's certainly got it. Jack says, I'm the Brighton fan. All right, Jack. Yeah, I used to live in Brighton, in a sunny place called Hove. Aaron Curl says, just on Sky Sports now, Wolves and Everton and several La Liga clubs are after Try Hume. Tony Huntington says, the problem with PSR is the finance take accounts for 3 years. That means we have to operate on a championship budget. We are the underdogs now, an unknown quantity, says Kingfisher. Well, we were underdogs by literally everybody that wasn't going to beat Sheffield United. Look what we've done. I don't know. It's tricky. You had 3 questions, Kev, didn't you?
Did. Got another one.
Get on.
So this one, which one shall I ask? How long of the show we got left? 15 minutes still. Did we start later?
We're going on till about 10 past.
I've got one for the end, which isn't quite football related, but I just thought I'd ask it anyways. So stay tuned for that one.
Where's Cabbie's mankini?
That.
So this is a section that I've called the rivals. So I know we talk about Sunderland and that's what we're here to do. But just with the sort of going into the Premier League and the derbies coming back, and I just thought I'd have a little question that related to them or the whatever. So it is a debate that I've been having with Geordie friends this week, quite intensely. Are Newcastle classed as a top 6 Premier League club?
Oh, get on, Richie. He's nudging us. He's edging to get in there.
Yeah, they are. In my opinion, as much as it kills us, yes. If I was a Newcastle fan right now, I would say 100%. Yeah.
Is that because they just finished 5th? Like they finished 7th last year, 4th the year before. And before that, it was 11th and 12th and 13th.
I just think, Kev, they're going to go from strength to strength now, and they've got, as much as it kills to say it, but if you want to like a humble opinion, they've got a hell of a team. If they keep that team this season, they're getting more Champions League experience as well next season. It's only going to bring more eyes onto them in a sort of like attract a higher caliber of player as well. We all know they've got the most money in the world. There's no other team in the world that can compete with Newcastle because they are light years ahead with money. I just honestly think, the team's similar to Sunderland. We've had ups and downs, They haven't been obviously as relegated as much as what we have, but they've certainly been to the darkest places you can go to in a football club. But obviously they've got a new owner comes in, and this is just what it happens these days, you know what I mean? And honestly, it can only bring more eyes on Sunderland, if anything. Newcastle doing well and getting this Champions League experience because, they might have mates at Newcastle. So then their pals might come to Sunderland, and then obviously they're in the same area. You know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying there. But yes, they are definitely a competing team.
Cabbie?
Yeah.
Do you think they are?
2 seconds. I'm just loading up my chat on my desktop because my phone's gone flat. I can't see the chat. So bear with us just 2 seconds. Sorry for
close the gate.
being a bit
gate.
slow.
Okay, phew, that was close. Let's get these +6 troops. Nice. I can get the
Things.
shotgun upgrade. Yes, the gate closed.
Not moderators. Do you think they are?
2 seconds.
Right,
I'm
I
just
just
loading up my chat on. Yeah, we're living in a society now where mobile phone batteries last about half an hour, don't they? I reckon, without doubt, Newcastle. Top 6. I would say that. Look, I think the way things are gone, I think you'll be seeing Newcastle challenging for the title in the next few seasons. I'm jumping out rivalry. I'm speaking as like sort of a neutral. Do you know what I mean? As a rivalry, I hope they get relegated minus 30 points or something. Do you know what I mean? As banter and rivalry. But if I sat on the fence, then I think you're going to be seeing them challenging for the title. I mean, there was a huge chunk of this season, or last season, should I say, where it was just win right across the board. They were just winning all the time. Didn't the Mags finish 6th? No, they finished 5th, and they still managed to get Champions League, I believe.
In 6th, 7th, and 4th.
Aye.
See, for me, to be classed as a top 6 Premier League club, I think it's something you would do consistently over 10 years. Do I think we'll get to that point? Absolutely. Do I think they are at the minute? No. I think they struggle this season because you need a massive squad to compete in the Champions League and the Premier League, and I think they will struggle. I don't know if they can go out and spend 500 million. I don't know if they can. But yeah, I just
Well,
asked that. I wondered what your opinion of it was, because for me it was, yeah, they probably will be in the next 7 years, but right now they're not. They're just not.
Pixel Rich says, agreed, the Mags are defo a top 6 club, although it pains me to say it. I was at the FA Cup game and it was men against boys when they played us. I think you'd get a different outcome possibly now, but you could see the gulf there, couldn't you, at the stadium of light when the beat was 3-0. It was like, it was just mad from when we were beating them 3-0 twice on the trot at St James's Park to what it is now. But that's what money does. Ian Brown says Spurs and United are out of that top 6 conversation for the next couple of seasons. David Walker says they got clear on goal difference. The jammy sods, well, it didn't help as well by a referee helping them by disallowing a perfectly good Aston Villa goal. Stephen Taylor says our noisy neighbours have no worries with PSR now, unfortunately, and yes, they are a top 6 team. Gary Hoyle says that's when that Super League could kick in, lads. Ian Curry says, do you trust our owners? I didn't, but my God, he says, I do now. Super League. I mean, would the Premier League be a better league if they did a Super League and say the big boys up and Adam and it went? There was no Liverpool's, Man City's, etc.
I would not. For me, it would create a second Championship league.
Do you think so?
Do I? And I think, I do think Sunderland can go up this season and achieve the points and performances that Everton have last season gone. West Ham, I don't see why that's not possible. So I think if you take them top big 6 teams out of the Premier League, you're kind of becoming a glorified Championship league, I think.
Because it gets to the stage, doesn't it? Sorry,
the top 6 went from the Premier League. The top 6 went from the Premier League, and the top 6 come from the Championship to replace them. It's a bit like the Championship, isn't it?
Paul Stratton says, Cabbie, nice to catch up as always. Hope your recruitment is top notch. Good luck. Very envious. Good luck to you as well, Paul. We'll be keeping an eye on you, see how you're doing. But no, it's. I mean, there's that many games I didn't bother watching in the Premier League because you just think, well, what's the point? You know what's going to happen. You know who's going to win. You know, it's the gulf is that massive of certain games. It's like, how many games next season can you just say right off? You know, when you play and say Liverpool, I mean, come on, are we really going to get anything? Well, anything's possible. Look at Forest.
No.
I don't know. It's
possible. It's possible. So we can.
We can, of course we can. It's just does it annoy you the fact, I mean, I don't know if you listen to radio channels and this and that and the other, but everybody's literally saying, Sunderland are down before we even kick the ball. But I think every team gets that who's going up. Pundits are saying out the bottom 3, out the 3 that's just come up, a lot of them favour Leeds United to stay up. They think Leeds have got what it takes because they've got such a good squad to begin with. that they favour Leeds to stay up out of us and Burnley. What do you reckon of that?
I don't know if Leeds are tactically as good as what Sunderland can be.
Mm-hmm.
In the Championship, they kind of played one way, which was very attacking. If they try to do that in the Premier League, they'll be 3-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
Whereas I've never really seen that Daniel Farke kind of be like I don't know. I just think Regis is a bit more tactical minded and a bit more cleverer. And he plays opponent. Depending who you're playing, depends who plays in the team, how they play, and I don't know. I just have a really good feeling Sunderland's going to be all right next season.
I mean, Leeds just beat us at Ellen Road. I mean, a lot of the Leeds fans.
None of them were three teams were any real better than us this season.
No.
Leeds, Burnley, none of them were like where you go. They're way ahead of us. None of them. Very, very much all alike.
Your sound's just gone off there, Kev. Can you hear me all right? Hello, can you hear me okay? Are you still here, Richie?
Yeah. I can hear you.
All right.
Froze though.
Well, I think I'm going to be going on Zoom next because I think, honestly, it can be so shady and annoying, can Discord at times. So I will get that looked into when I get it sorted out. God, there's that many channels. I've got we've had nearly 80 odd people in the channel tonight, by the way, which is fantastic, even though the season's ended.
Yep.
That's a good amount,
You what, mate?
A good amount?
Massive, mate. Absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. Tricia says, Paul Stratton, very welcome. Janet says, we're going to surprise everyone. Ian says, yes, but Leeds lost 4 lonelies and apparently Junior is gone. Junior Fairpaw. James says, I actually like the pundits being against us. It makes staying up all that sweeter. Ian Brown says, Wolves have lost Tuna, so if they don't spend that money wisely, maybe we can challenge them for 17th place. And I can't remember. Paul Stratton said, oh, yeah. Somebody said, yeah, no wonder Leeds are going to be favourites to stay up because let's face it, they won the league, so as a neutral perspective, they are going to be favourites, aren't they? Kev, what was did you have another question?
It'll be right at the end.
Right at the end. We can ask it now if you want, because we've got 4 minutes left.
Right. I said it wasn't football related.
It's not X-rated, is it?
No. Is Pierce Starmer the best or worst tool his father made?
I didn't hear what you said there, mate. What did you say?
Is Pierce Starmer the best or worst tool his father made?
Ah. Well, I think Richie's got Keir Starmer posters all over his wall on the other side, didn't you?
Oh, I love the bloke eye. Yeah, I love the bloke eye. Yeah.
You think he'll ever be seen in the light?
Oh.
To welcome us to the Premier League, like he does. Did he go to Arsenal or something?
I think so, all right. Did you not see me post on Facebook, happy birthday to Tony Hadley? Did you not see that?
No.
Oh, dear.
Keir Starmer, man.
They only got in because they wanted the Tories out with the screw-ups they did for COVID. Nigel Farage is knocking on the door. You watch this. If there was another election right now, Keir Starmer wouldn't get a look in. And no, you're not watching Question Time on BBC One at the moment. This is just a question Kev's throwing at us.
I just thought that I'd throw a random one in at the end there, you know.
I've not seen anybody had a good word with Keir Starmer, to be honest with you. The question is, though, would he do the job for Sunderland if we signed him?
I would do over.
we have got a young team of boys, so
Oh. Somebody messages before as well. Stormer out, says Taylor. Janet says, good one, Kev. Stormer's a Rockefeller tool, says D Hall. Stormer is a hand cranker. What a tool, says Paul. Gary Hoyle says, I wouldn't want a Super League at all. Robbie Hopkins says, I wouldn't want to be funded by the Saudis. No way. But would you, though? Would you be saying that if they came knocking on the door and we've got billions to spend? What would you be thinking then? It's quiet when you're on the other side of it. Eh?
We'll link with that Turkey Allah Sheikh. You know, the one that's doing all the boxing promotions. I've seen loads of rumours about him. I thought, like, how hypocritical would it be, like, if we got taken over by the Saudis with the amount of abuse that we've given the Mags? Obviously, we'll all welcome them, of course we would. We would be the same. We would have, you know, the headdresses on, the white, you know, whatever they wear, and then we would all be dressed like that as well. So it's just a bit banter in it, like, but like it would be mint if we did.
Someone messaged us before, I forgot to mention as well, saying now we're going to get the pink seats sorted out for the Premier League next season. I mean, is that really priority? Does it look that bad, the stadium?
They need to move the away fans. They need to move the away fans, Cabbie. They need to have that atmosphere.
That's a massive point, Richie, because... You want Rich? Kev?
I agree with Richie about the away fans. I think they should be on the bottom bowl. I think the stadium needs it for the atmosphere, like what Richie said. And one thing we are going to need next season is an atmosphere like that Coventry home game. Every game.
It's a good job. It's a good job you pointed that out.
Yeah, them fans need to be that 12th man every single game next season.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that question when we thought there was nowhere we were going up, and people were saying there's no point putting the fans in the lower bowl because in the Championship there's more than over half only fetch a couple of hundred up, and it'll look crap having the lower bowl looking half empty. But now it's completely different. Now you're going to have a sellout of every away fans that's coming. It's going to sell out. That's just what the Premier League brings. So, you know, there's no excuse to move the away fans to the lower bowl. Whether the season ticket holders would like that or not, that's been there for years. Whereabouts in the ground would you put them? Would you put them where they were before? But yet again, that was at the Roker end.
Nah. I would just have them in the corner. I mean, I don't know if you've got to allocate so many tickets there compared to stadium size, but I would have them in the corner. One of the north stand corners, whichever one's easier to get them in the route. And they could be in the bottom section and the top section, and when you have the bigger teams coming with the more fans, and they could just be all the way up and down on one corner. That's what I think.
Be an interesting one. So the pink seats don't really that matter at the minute. It's not that. I'm not bothered about it. Are you? Did you notice the pink seats? Anyone will see them. Ian Brown says there's no reason why our fans in the Premier League can't be as loud as Coventry. If Leeds keep Messier, they will struggle, says Gary Hoyle. Dougie Stewart says, but he's not as good as looking as her. Trisha Winstanley says, who thinks Archie Conroy, the ball boy, should be the 12th man? Well, he certainly was, wasn't he? Paul Stratton says, big rumour Coventry City are in for Jack Clark. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps ships and gans to another Championship club. Ollie says, what are pink seats? It's basically when you get cheap seats and they just fade with the sun. Believe it or not, yes, you do get quite a lot of sun in Sunderland. You wouldn't think so, but Steve Taylor says you get one season grace for away fans, then you must have them in the lower bowl for year 2 if we are still in the Premier League. Aaron Curl says Prem rules say you need at least one block away fans pitch side since 2017. He says only exception is the Mags, as they have segregation issues.
The Mags have segregation issues in general.
Especially with the horses. Oh, I know. It's who would you like to get first game of the season?
Newcastle.
Get it out the road.
Imagine.
Oh, I'd play them every week, mate. I love it.
The pressure's not on us, you know. I don't care about anybody. The pressure is not on us. I mean, yes, they could come to Stadium of Light and do a Sheffield United and tank us 8 out, and we'll never hear the end of it. But are you up?
I still think we'll beat that game after 8 out.
Eh?
I can't say it, but I'd still think if the beat was 8 out the first game of the season, I think we're going to beat them 8 out at St James's Park. It's just can happen. It can happen.
Oh, do you know what? I was reading some poll. I don't know if it was on Radio Newcastle or something. Do you know what? They voted the best derby goal for Sunderland against Newcastle. And do you know what it was? What do you think, Rich?
Jim Defoe.
Wasn't that one? What do you reckon, Kev?
No.
What do you reckon they said was the best goal Sunderland have scored against Newcastle?
Was it Vaughan?
Vaughan. Did you hear that? Did you? Did you hear them say it?
No, I didn't. I was just
Aye.
kind of one that sticks in my mind.
They said it was
David
Vaughan. There's been some crackers, but
I'll never forget that day because I was at that match as well.
Oh, were you in the away fans?
I was at that one. When Di Canio come and slidden on his knees and that, I was there at that game. It was one of the best games I've ever been to.
That's the only derby game away I've ever been to as well. That one.
What can
you go as well?
I made that.
Last day, like when it.
What's it like when you? What was it like when you came out the stadium? And tell us what was it like when you guys came out the stadium? Did you have to stay behind a bit, or did you get let out straight away?
For me, going there was, I don't know. I tell you what it felt like coming out at Central Station, because you come out at Central Station and you're kind of surrounded by the police horses and dogs, and then surrounded by loads of Newcastle fans. And you felt like fucking Russell Crowe coming out as the gladiator or something like that. You just, that feeling you got inside, it was just like, come on, man. Let's go and beat them, you know? And then you get marched through the city centre to the ground. Fabulous experience.
And you can't see anything but because you're just surrounded by police, is that right?
You're just getting, to be honest, you know, like, there's never really much trouble, you know. Like, people dance about and that.
The majority of it's banter, isn't it?
It is fun. So if the police parted like that, man, go on then. 99% of people would run away, man.
What was it like for you, Richie, coming out or going there?
Well, I was hammered, so my memories are a little bit faded, but I just remember coming out with a massive smile, and I was giving it all and more coming out to the fans, but like Kev says, just the best part of the day was actually marching through the streets up to St James's Park, seeing all the Newcastle fans there, giving it what for to them, giving it back, you know. But like the glee I had inside of us coming out of that stadium, skipping, I was just so desperate to go and see where they all were, all lining up outside, you know. And then there was all the bother as well, like. But it was just a day like I just never thought we'd beat them. You know what I mean? I never, ever expected that to hammer them 3-0 at home.
Because they were hoying fireworks at us, weren't they? They were hoying fireworks, bangers and stuff at us.
It was after the Session goal, though. After that goal, I thought, that's it. Like, I thought, that's it. Look, we've got this game against these today. Like,
because they scored, didn't it? And to be fair, it was a perfectly legit goal, and it was ruled offside.
Yeah.
Newcastle scored.
Aye. After Session, they equalised, I think, and it was offside because there's that close-up of Alan Pardew going, yes, and then in the last minute he showed
aye. Yeah.
And who'd have thought, was it the following season, we did exactly the same, 3-0 at St James's Park?
Yeah.
When you had a rough time.
We're Newcastle's bogey team.
That's why I've still got that shirt, the Invest in Africa one, because that one's always been a special one because obviously it's the one I wore on that day. I just wish I got it signed, you know what I mean? But it's always been a lucky tough for me, that.
Just catch up on the chat.
But it's just magical.
It is magical. Ian Brown says, I'd rather have Burnley first match so we have a chance of top of the table while we can. And everybody be taking screenshots. Janet says, we could beat Man U right now. I agree with you there. Liverpool or Man U at home. Great show against lads. Back next week. Cheers, Pixel Rich. And if I'm rightly saying, I think wasn't Liverpool's wasn't that Ipswich Town's first match against Liverpool at Ipswich? I'm sure it was last season. Paul Stratton, Burnley at home, Leeds away. Oof. Every tie's a tasty tie, innit? Bong says, stick the away fans upstairs, man. She says, there's no way I'm walking up there with my father. He says, the Bristolian Mackem, good to see. He says, don't forget Kieran Richardson's free kick rocket. And I still to this day would love to know how he got the power on that. Like, I think he was still in the air, wasn't he, when the ball hit the back of the net? Which was a sheer given. The fireworks are better than bricks, says Tricia. Ian Brown says, Isaac v Ballard will be sensational again. Paul Stratton says, as it's apparent that the hate between Coventry and Sunderland is overstated. Hope you have a good season and we can catch you up. Rivalry is complete. Bollocks. Yeah, well, I will be keeping an eye on Coventry City because they've been sniffing, haven't they? They're sniffing as if like they're nearly there but just not quite getting over the line. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Coventry in the playoffs. Possibly higher.
They lose a few players. Could Coventry lose a few players at how well they kind of went the second half of the season?
Well, there's a few
I
fans.
think Richie was the right winger.
Yeah, there's a few fans said that. That's what happens if you put yourself in the shop window and you're doing well, and you didn't get up. Then they've got a chance of losing some of the players, and it's a tricky one. Ian Brown says, great show, lads. See you next week. Thanks, Ian. I think first game West Ham at the Stadium of Light, says John 73. Janet says, either way, the real fun begins after Christmas. Ian Brown, good night, mate. I've had a lot of messages as well asking how Davey is, so I'm going to give a wave to Davey if he's going to watch later on. Hope you're well, bud. Don't know if you want to give a little update, Kev, how your father's doing?
He will be watching. He will watch whether it's now or he'll be up during the night watching it. So whatever you kind of want to see or anything like that, just shout out for him. He will watch it at some point. He's all right in himself, I guess. He's struggling to sleep, which has a knock-on effect of lots of other things. But he's never really been someone who's slept much in anywhere. Believe it or not, he probably's had 4 hours kit every single night and still full of energy all day. So, we need to try and get him into some sleeping routine a bit better, I think. But he's still fighting, still positive. And we're all meant to be going out for like a family day on Friday, weather permitting. So you might see few little clips of them, some pop up somewhere of us all out.
Did you see the video I had to redo of him singing Wise Men Say? Did you see it? The one I finished on, that little clip?
I did, mate. It looked really good. The big part of the day for that for me and my dad, and that and the national anthem is something my dad's always loved doing at Wembley. Them two songs.
It's mad, isn't it? How like YouTube. I mean, it was the background music of Wise Men Say. Let's face it. But that's what YouTube does. It just picks it up. And TikTok, I put it on TikTok. It lasted 30 seconds and it muted the whole video. It's mental, man. Honest to God. And so far, it's still up on Facebook, I believe. But even Facebook will probably block it. They're a bit slow to usually act. It's just mental. Davey says, you're a legend, and I send lots of love, says Tricia. He says, Davey, you're a brave soldier, keep up the good work, says Janet. Trisha says that broke my heart watching him sing that. I think what you mean in an emotional way, Trisha. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Put his heart and soul into singing that. Have you seen that, Richie? When he's singing Wise Men Say?
Yeah. Brilliant video. It's brilliant.
I thought Pavarotti was going to do him for copyright if he'd carried that on. Harry SFC, Notts Forest at home first game. I don't know why, but I think for some reason. But anyway, we've overrun a little bit, but I think we've just done about an hour because of the technical hitches. Cheers for joining. But it's surprising how much you've got to chat about, and every Monday they'll be the same because there'll be more players. There'll be loads of rumours going about. And we can talk about the Premier League. We can talk about it now. We can talk about the Liverpool, the Evertons, and this and that and the other. Because this is now a Premier League channel. So Paul Stratton says, please give my sincere best wishes and respect to Big Davey. Respect from Coventry City Football Club. Topsy T, evening Cabbie and lads from the Irish Sea. Good evening, Topsy. Ollie says, bye Cabbie, Richie, Kev. This is an amazing show tonight and see you later. And my first game of the season will be Everton, and bye-bye and get well soon. Davey, bye-bye lads. Great show, by the way. Yes, Tricia says in an emotional way. Janet says, thank you, Cabbie, Kev, Richard. Great stream, guys, says Tricia, and an absolute pleasure as always. Yeah, you've done a good job, Tricia, and thanks for Paul. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for Richie. Thanks for Kev joining in. I feel like Simon Pride on bloody Total Sport.
Class, mate. Aye, all the best, lads. Hope you're doing well, David, and thinking about the pod.
Aye. And don't forget, Richie sometimes posts videos and blogs and stuff. Feel free, if you want to do little vlogs now and again, just let us know and I can post them on the channel if you wanted to, Kev, if you want to get off your chest.
I will.
Because they've been quite popular. Some of the videos that Richie's put up, he just says, yeah, I'll put this vlog up and I'll whack it up. Aye.
Might go around and interview some Celtic and Rangers fans for you.
Listen, lads, thanks for coming on. All right, I've enjoyed it.
No worries, man. See you later.
See you later.
All the best, boys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. See you later. Bye-bye now.